Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's discussion from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are discussing the chapter 11 at the moment, the universal form. And so far we have covered up to verses 48. Today we will be concluding this chapter. We will begin from verse 49. Ma te vyatha ma cha vimudbhavo drishtva rupam ghoram medridang mamedam vyapet pritmanah punastvam tadeva me rupamidam prapashya. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished, my devotee. Be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind you can now see the form you desire. Verse 50. Sanjay uvacha ityarjunam vasudevasthathoktva swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyah ashvasayamasa cha bhitamenam bhutva punah somyav purmahatma. Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjun, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjun. Verse 51. Arjun uvacha drishtvedvam manusham rupam tav somyam janardana idani asmi samvrittah sachetah prakritim yiggatah. When Arjun thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardan, seeing this human-like form so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind and I am restored to my original nature. Verse 52. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Sudur Darshamidam Rupam Drishtvanasiyan Mama Deva Apyasya Rupasya Nityam Darshan Kangikshanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjun, this form of mine you are seeing is very difficult to behold. Even demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. Verse 53. Naham vedarna tapasa na danena na chejyaya shakya evam vidho drashtum drishtvanasi mam yatha. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Verse 54. Bhaktya tvananya shakya ahame vam vidhorjuna gyatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. My dear Arjun, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Verse 55. Mat karma kirinmat parmo mad bhaktah sangavarjitah nirvairah sarvabhuteshu yah sa mameti pandava. My dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly can come to me. So we will be discussing verses 49 onwards up to the last verse, verse 55 of chapter 11, the universal form. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhete kirim yat kripatamam vandesh gurum dinataranam paramananda madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshu. That's it. So Krishna revealed the Narayan form at the request of Arjun to him, and now Krishna is saying to Arjun, you have been perturbed disturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. So from the beginning, we have seen in Bhagavad Gita how Arjun was so much perplexed and disturbed and in lots of dilemmas and doubts as to how is he going to kill his guru Drona and his great-grandfather Bhishma, and how Krishna has been giving the knowledge to Arjun, the enlightenment to Arjun, that he shouldn't be afraid of all this, because he has seen how the Dhritarashtra's son, they have behaved badly with Draupadi, and these seniors, they were quiet during that disturbance. They should have intervened because they had all the right, and they neglected their duty, so they should be killed. And he was shown the universal form. Prabhupada is reminding us the purpose of the universal form was in a way to show to Arjun that these people were already being punished. Arjun saw all these people going into the mouth of Lord Krishna. Now Arjun wanted to see the four-armed form, and Krishna had shown him the four-armed form, because Arjun has understood everything now and he's no longer interested to look at the universal form, because he wasn't able to reciprocate his feelings with Krishna lovingly anymore after seeing the universal form. Hence, he was very much eager to lovingly reciprocate and exchange his feelings with Krishna as he was able to before. In verse 50, Sanjay again says to Dhritarashtra that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spoken to Arjun, displayed his real four-armed form of Narayan and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Krishna. So when we are again reminded by Prabhupada in the purport that when Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he first of all appeared as a four-armed Narayan, but when he was requested by the parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child so that the parents could enjoy the Vatsalya Ras with him. They could shower their affection onto their child. Arjun asked for the four-armed form. He was shown the four-armed form, and now, after looking at the four-armed form, Krishna showed himself again to Arjun in his two-armed form, two-handed form. The word Saumya Vapu, Prabhupada is reminding us, is very significant. Saumya Vapu is the form, and Saumya is beautiful. So Saumya Vapu means beautiful form. It is the most beautiful form, and everybody is attracted simply by Krishna's form, this form of two hands. And Lord is the director of the universe. He has taken away all the fears of Arjun, and Arjun is his devotee, and Arjun is able to see Krishna as Krishna appears in Vraja. Actually, as he appeared first of all in Mathura. In Brahma Samhita 5.38, it stated, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Only a person whose eyes are smeared, Anjana means eyes, are smeared with the ointment of love. Ointment of love can see the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. The Anjana is ointment, sorry. Verse 51, Arjun is speaking now. I would like to repeat this verse. This verse was Drishtvedam manusham rupam tava somyam janardana. Manusham rupam, human-like form. Idanimasmi samvrittah sacheta prakritam gatah. When Arjun saw Krishna in his original form, the two-handed form, he said, O Janardan, after seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind and I am restored to my original nature. So Manusham Rupam clearly indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be originally two-handed. Now when somebody sees Krishna as two-handed, it's hard for them to understand the universal form and the how and also the four-handed form, and then they are confused. And similarly, Arjun saw Krishna from two-handed to universal form, then from universal form to the four-handed Lord Narayan's form, then from Lord Narayan's form again to the Krishna's form of two-handed. So who can do that? Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead can quickly change into these forms. Change from universal form to the form of Vishnu, Narayan. In verse 52, Bhagwan continues, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjun, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear. Prabhupada is reminding us in the purport that in the 48th verse of this chapter, which we concluded yesterday, Lord Krishna concluded revealing the universal form and informed Arjun that this form is not possible for even after doing so many pious activities and yagyas. So sudarsham, durdarsham is the word is used. So Krishna's two-handed form is very, very confidential. So in the higher planets, the devas and the entities residing in the higher planets, they're able to see the Narayan form of Lord and perhaps the universal form. But this two-handed form is very confidential. They are not able to see this. They are not able to do the devotional service to Lord in the two-handed form. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, we remember even the demigods came from heaven when Devaki was when Krishna was going to manifest in Mathura. So this is very, very confidential form. Demigods like Brahma and Shiva, they had to come. They all came to see this form of Lord. In 9.11 Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanum ashritah. He is not visible to the foolish persons who deride him, Krishna's body, as confirmed by Brahma Samhita and confirmed by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita. His body is completely spiritual and full of bliss and eternality. So nothing like our material bodies. So it is so important to understand the activities of the Lord, form of the Lord and everything from a learned authority. In our case here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us, because otherwise if we'll be just reading the verses and the translations, we'll be just making our own speculations, our own judgments, and our own really putting our own spin on the translations, which is not going to help us at all. So So to see the form of Krishna as in the universal form is very, very difficult, and it's not at all possible for everyone, because you need special eyes, divya chakshu, you have to be given by the Lord, and it is very difficult to understand, and you won't be able to do any devotional service even to it. You won't even have any kind of a reverence to it. You'll be just afraid. So the form of Shyam Sundar, like the form in Vrindavan and all these ISKCON temples, Lord is known as Shyam Sundar in the Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan, ISKCON temple. So the form of Shyam Sundar is the personal form. It's very easy to understand that form, and it's also very easy for our minds to get controlled in front of that form. We actually enjoy that form because that form looks so much similar to how we all are, two-handed forms. So without fear, we can perform the devotional service to that form of the Lord. In verse 53, so the Lord is saying again to Arjun, the form you're seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, or by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Understanding of what we saw can only come by the devotion and by performing the devotional service. In this verse, word the tapasa means the physical activity, the chejaya means the material paraphernalia, danena is charity, and this is where a heart is offered. Or a heart is offered to Krishna, to the form. Right, now we know Krishna appeared first, like we said in the earlier verse as well, that Krishna appeared before his parents Devaki and Vasudev in the form of four-armed, handed form, and they requested him to appear in the two-handed form because they wouldn't be able to serve him. They will be in awe of Krishna in that form. So Krishna can only be understood and served by the devotional service when he appears in the two-handed forms. In verse 54, Krishna is continuing to say to Arjun, my dear Arjun, by undivided and unalloyed devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. In this way you can enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So by undivided, unalloyed devotional service, people who try to understand Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, they are not going to regret that. They are going to gain a lot. They are going to advance in their devotional service. They are going to advance in their spiritual journey, and which is like by following the rules and regulations, and also by observing the 2 Ekadashis in a month, because that is the most dear days to Krishna. The Ekadashi is the most dear to Krishna, and then you will be able to give the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya to others as well, because that is the Yug Dharma. This is the only Yug Dharma in this age of Kali. Otherwise, this age of Kali is full of quarrel and hypocrisy everywhere. And then you can also do the charity also in a very Krishna conscious way. You will be very very much in tune with where you are going to give a charity. You would like to know in advance that the money you are giving away is going to be used for right purposes and not just used for the sense gratification or for the lower modes of somewhat lower modes of for example, ignorance, etc. It's not going to be used for abuse of any kind. In Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23 it said, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guraro tasyaite kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmanah. One who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Lord and is directed by the spiritual master can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation, by realizations, and not by any other form that can be understood. The personal forms of Krishna, the two-handed form and the four-handed form, are completely different from the temporary universal form shown to Arjuna. We've almost understood this point now. Sudhu darsham means it's difficult to see the universal form. You need special eyes, special mercy. Only Lord can give you that. In 5.8 Brahma Samhita it says that the Mahavishnu, into whom all the innumerable universes enter, from whom they come forth again simply by his breathing process, is a plenary expansion of Krishna. Therefore I worship Govinda, Krishna, the cause of all causes. Yasyeka nishvasita kalam atha valambya jivanti loma vilaja jagad andanatha Vishnur mahan sa iha yasya kala vishesho govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. This has been also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well, that Lord is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the worshipable one who has eternal bliss and knowledge. In Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1.1 this statement appears, Satchidanand Rupaya Krishnaya Kalishta Karine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Guruve Buddhi Sakshine. I offer my respectful obeisances to Krishna, who has transcendental form of bliss, eternity and knowledge. Knowledge is Chit, Anand is bliss, and Sat means eternal. So he is the Supreme Master. Understanding the Lord means understanding the Vedas. It's a very important point we should all remember. Krishna ve paramam daivatam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's again said in Gopal Tapani 1.3, Eko Vashi Sarvagaha Krishna Idya. That one Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is worshipable. Eko api san bahuda yo avabhati. Krishna is one, but he is manifested in unlimited forms and expanded incarnations. This was from Gopal Tapani 1.21. Brahma Samhita 5.1 says, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchid Anand Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karanam. Brahma Samhita, as you know, are the prayers by Lord Brahma. The Supreme Lord of Godhead is Krishna, who has body of eternity, knowledge and bliss. He has no beginning, for he is the beginning of everything and he is the cause of all causes. Yatra avatiranam krishnakhyam param brahma narakriti. The Supreme Personality, Absolute Truth, is a person. His name is Krishna. He sometimes descends on this earth. Similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we find description of all kinds of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this list, the name of Krishna also appears. Krishna is not the incarnation of God, but is the original Supreme personality of Godhead. Ete chamsah kalah pumsah Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. He is the original Supreme Personality of the Godhead himself. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Mattah parataram nanya, there is nothing superior to my form as the personality of Godhead. And Bhagavan also says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham adir hi devanam, I am the origin of all the demigods. Arjun also, remember, he said to Bhagavan, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Param Bhavan. I now fully understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. So the universal form is to the draw attention of those who have no love for God. It is not God's original form. God's original form is the two-handed and the four-handed. For the pure devotees also, the universal form is not attractive at all. They can't have any transcendence, any kind of relationships with God in that form. They'll be just fearful, and as we see in the case of Arjun, he was also very fearful. The two-handed form and the four-handed form are the captivating forms where you get attracted to the Lord. In verse 55, finally, the final verse of this chapter, Krishna says to Arjun, my dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service without any personal agenda, any ulterior motives, like we say in this day and age, free from contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, he who makes me the supreme goal of his life, he who is friendly to everyone, he certainly comes to me. The one who is not attached to the material, and he is not serving his own any kind of agenda, but he's just doing the devotional service to please the Lord. So the Lord has given us the formula, that this is the formula. He who is going to do the devotional service just for the Lord, without any material desires, without any fruitive desires, without any underlying agendas, that person, and that person who is friendly to everyone, that person is going to come to God. God is saying that. So this is the formula God has given us. In this verse, in Bhakti Samrita Sindhu 2.255th verse, it says, Anasakyasya Vishayan Yathar Aham Upayunjitaha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. No work should be done by a man except in relationship to Krishna. That is called Krishna Karma. So as we have been saying since the first chapter, that we can have everything in our life. We can work with Krishna around that. So our life will be Krishnamaya. And we can do the Krishna Karma easily. We don't have to worry about it. And so this way, our life will become Krishna conscious. Eating the prasad, giving some part of our income for the betterment of the temple or the building of a temple, or for the prasad seva, or for the book distribution, like in this month, giving small or big books, or Bhagavad Gita, or whatever we can, so that the souls, they can reawaken their love for the Lord. They start their devotional service. And the simplest formula, Bhagavan tells us that he just wants Tulsi to be worshipped to be looked after, and whenever he's being offered some food items, the bhoga, there should be a leaf of tulsi also on it. And if we are stuck somewhere, Bhagwan says to us that patram pushpam phalam toyam, he's happy with just with the leaf, flower, fruit, and just water as well. But of course, alongside, tulsi should be there. So Bhagwan has given the formula for a person who has somehow become poor in this life due to some past life karma or something. Even that person can, because we know Lakshmi is very chanchal. Lakshmi doesn't likes to live anywhere permanently. She can come and go. But Bhagwan is telling us that in our opulence we can serve him, but in our in the situations where we are not left with much materially, then also we can serve Bhagwan. Because the Mat Paramaha are the ones who consider the association of Krishna to be the highest perfection. Those people, they are not going to be happy with just the effulgence in the spiritual sky. The effulgence is coming from the body of the Bhagwan. They just don't want to be hanging by the effulgence, the Brahmajyoti, because they know they will be falling down from there after their pious credits will come to an end there. And the eventual goal is, the realistic goal is to go and serve Lord Krishna in Krishna Loka in the Golok Vrindavan. And that is only going to be accessible to us slowly by our pure devotional service to Lord. Madbhakta. Madbhakta means that person is fully going to be engaged in the pure devotional or the unalloyed devotional service. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, Annabhilashita Shunyam, it's a very famous verse by Rupa Goswami. Jnana Karmade Anavritam Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So Prabhupada has quoted two verses from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu here. Earlier on we said one verse, and now this one, Anabhilashita Shunyam. So this person must be free from all kinds of material contamination, free from all associations of persons who are attracted to the or addicted to the fruitive activities and mental speculation. They like to have their own spin on things, and they don't like to take advantage of the learned people's bhaktas, their commentaries or the Guru's commentaries, and to learn from them and not to waste their time. So they want to perform the pure devotional service. They favorably cultivate the knowledge of Krishna by keeping away from the contamination of material desires. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam. Hari Bhakti Vilas 11.676 says, one should think of Krishna and act for Krishna favorably, not unfavorably. So a devotee of Krishna, he has got this attitude that he or she is everybody's friend. They have no enemy, nirvairaha, because they understand that only Lord can relieve them from the problems of life, and they have to understand that Bhagwan is residing as the Paramatma aspect in everyone as super soul, and so that devotee starts seeing Lord in everyone. And so the question of having animosity toward anyone or a bad behavior towards anyone finishes. And Prabhupada gives us the favorite example of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, as we all know, was crucified by the non-devotees, but he sacrificed his life spreading the God consciousness. We know Jesus Christ had to give up his life. He was killed, but Still, till the last moment, he was spreading the consciousness of the God. In India, there are so many examples of Bhakt Prahlad, who became Prahlad Maharaj at the age of 5. How he realized God conscious, and he completely rejected the philosophy of his father Hiranyakashipu, who kept saying to him that he was Bhagwan. And of course, Thakur Haridas. Who was Thakur Haridas? It was Lord Brahma himself, who came as a Mohammedan, as a Muslim during the time of Lord Chaitanya, and he used to do a lot of chanting. He used to hardly have rest of 2 hours in 24 hours, and he was also abused by the non-devotees, but he carried on chanting the names of the Lord, and he was so dear to Lord Chaitanya. So Krishna can only be favorable to us and merciful to us when we are going to be engaged in Krishna's service, and this is the only way we can achieve the supreme planet after leaving this body. Krishna is the origin of all these manifestations, and Krishna is a manifestation of the original Vishwarup, or the universal form, and the most important form for a devotee is of the two-handed Shyamsundar. And in Brahma Samhita it says that the devotee who is attached to this form, the two-handed form of Krishna, in love and devotion can see Krishna within the heart of themselves, and they also see in others' hearts as well. So we should understand that this form of Krishna is the supreme and essential. In Prabhupada's words, in this purport, thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the universal form. So we have come to the end of this 11th chapter, and we will be starting our chapter 12, which is the devotional service, which is very small compared to the chapter which we have just finished. The chapter 12 only has 20 verses, and it's a very sweet one as well. This will be the last chapter, starting from chapter 7 to chapter 12. It's all about Krishna. So this is the last chapter about Krishna, and from chapter 13 the mood will change. We will be hearing more about the material world in chapters 13 to 18. Thank you for joining, and please forgive if I've made any mistakes. I'm also learning. I'm in the learning process as well. And tomorrow we will fast for Utpanna Ekadashi. Utpanna Ekadashi is today, but we don't fast today according to the Vaishnav calendar. We fast tomorrow for the Utpanna Ekadashi. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.